Hi, my name is Angie Solomon, and tonight we'll be reviewing Margaret Sanger's speech, The Children's Era. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my subject is the children's era. The children's era. This reminds me of Ellen Key's book, The Century of the Child. Ellen Key hoped that this 20th century was to be the century of the child. The 20th century, she said, would see this old world of ours converted into a beautiful garden of children. Well, we have already lived through a quarter of this 20th century, and what steps have we taken toward making the century of the child? So far, very, very few. Why does the children's era still remain a dream of the dim and distant future? Why has so little been accomplished? In spite of all of our acknowledged love of children, all of our generosity, all of our goodwill, all the enormous spending of millions on philanthropy and charities, all of our warm-hearted sentiment, all of our incessant activity and social consciousness. Why? Before you can cultivate a garden, you must know something about gardening. You have got to give your seeds proper soil to grow. You have got to give them sunlight and fresh air. You have got to give them space and opportunity. If they're to lift their flowers to the sun and distract their roots deep into that soil. And always, do not forget this, you have got to fight weeds. You cannot have a garden if you let weeds overrun it. So if we want to make this world a garden for children, we must first learn the lesson of the gardener. So far, we have not been gardeners. We have only been a sort of a silly reception committee at the Grand Central Station of life. Trainload after trainload of children are coming in, day and night. Nameless refugees arriving out of nowhere to here. Trainload after trainload, many unwelcome, unwanted, unprepared for, unknown, without baggage, without passports, most of them without pedigrees. These unlimited hordes of refugees arrive in such numbers that the reception committee is thrown into a panic of activity. The reception committee arouses itself heroically, establishes emergency measures, milk stations, maternity centers, settlement houses, playgrounds, orphanages, welfare leagues, and every conceivable kind of charitable effort. But still, trainloads and trainloads of children keep on coming. Human weed crop that spreads so fast in this sinister struggle for existence that the overworked committee becomes exhausted, inefficient, and can think of no way out. When we protest against this immeasurable, meaningless waste of motherhood and child life, when we protest against the ever-mounting cost to the world of asylums, prisons, homes for the feeble-minded, and such institutions for the unfit, when we protest against the disorder and chaos of tragedy of modern life, when we point out the biological corruption that is destroying the very heart of America life, we are told that we are making merely an emotional appeal. When we point the one immediate practical way toward order and beauty in society, the only way to lay the foundations of a society composed of happy children, happy women, and happy men, they call this idea indecent and immoral. It is not enough to clean up the filth and disorder of our overcrowded cities. It is not enough to stop the evil child labor. Even if we could, it's not enough to decrease the rate of infantile mortality. It is not enough to open playgrounds and build more public schools in which we standardize the minds of young. It is not enough to throw millions upon millions of dollars into charities and philanthropies. Don't deceive ourselves that by doing so we are making the world safe for our children. Those of you who have followed the sessions of this conference must, I'm sure, agree with me that the first real stop toward the creation of a children's era must lie in providing the conditions of a healthy life for children, not only before birth, but even before, imperatively before, conception. Human society must protect its children. Yes, but prenatal care is most essential. The child to be, as yet not called into being, has rights, no less imperative. Thank you for your time. Good evening.